Call all you might Yahweh by Shem Al Shai, by Shem Kakadash, and give a double honor to the elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone who well. Peace and salutation to the elect. All praise, honor, and glory to our power, Yahweh by Shem Al Shai, by Shem Kakadash, which I uttered in the Paleo Hebrew, ancient language that has been returned to us Hebrew Israelites that we can call upon our power, one consent. Shem Al Machma is a Mappa from the Great Millstone Plaintables Camp of Philadelphia. It's coming with this week's lesson. You have it here off of CBS Philadelphia. Fair use warning. I don't own any of this footage. This is for educational purposes only. And it states in the headline, proposed bill would not allow people to use SNAP or supplemental nutrition and let me get the acronym. So SNAP is, assistance program, supplemental nutrition assistance program. Okay, which people eligible low income households can obtain, as they say, more nutritious food choices. Right? Federal government program that provides food purchasing assistance for low and no income persons to help them maintain adequate nutrition and health. All right. Again, just to go into it, what is nutrition? Nutrition is nourishing, okay, which goes back to suckle or feed from nutrary, right? It even goes into let flow, okay, to suckle or feed. Okay, so you have it here. You know, most people that get this and receive this, and if you look into the statistics, and most of those will definitely be women that receive these benefits. SNAP benefit recipients. Women are the majority of non-elderly SNAP recipients, right? Making up more than half, 55.4% of the group. Okay? And then they have, while different other alphabet individuals get, you know, they have high participation rates. Okay? In the SNAP. And, you know, this is just another benefit program for, you know, from the government. All right. So let's just play this.
Well, a proposed bill would not allow people to use SNAP benefits to buy junk food in Pennsylvania. This bill directs the Department of Human Services to seek a waiver from the USDA. 12 other states are pursuing similar waivers with varying restrictions on sugary foods and drinks. Republican state senators Michelle Brooks and Doug Mastriano say the health impacts of high sugar and ultra-processed foods are passed on to taxpayers through health care programs.
Our department has encouraged states to think differently and creatively about how to solve the many health issues facing Americans.
These restrictions, they don't solve hunger or improve health. They only limit choices for people who already face barriers.
Pennsylvania already does not allow people on SNAP to buy alcohol and tobacco.
Yeah, but who needs, like, alcohol and tobacco? Like, for the way most individuals use it. Well, first of all, you know, Jake shouldn't be out there smoking no tobacco. Then you have it with alcohol. You know, it has, of course, its use and such in its particular circumstances, right? You know, a little yawn, you know, for thy stomach's sake. give a strong drink to those that are, ready to perish. There has, wine can make, different drink can make you merry and bring you high spirits and stuff. But when you think about these programs and stuff, you think about somebody needing to be able to nourish themselves, or as it's going into to suckle or feed themselves. Okay, really, but this stuff supposed to be an active process in which organisms absorb their proper food into their systems and build into living tissue. But most of the time when people are eating, they're feeding really these cravings, and ultimately it's not the proper food. It's not the suitable food. Most of the food is not even permissible for Hebrew Israelites. If you're a Hebrew Israelite, you do have a dietary law. Okay, you read that in Leviticus, the 11th chapter. Talk about notably not eating swine and different bottom feeders and such, different unclean beasts and such. All right, eating beasts with fins and scales. Okay, and telling you not to eat these different abominable foods, which a lot of Jake, especially with eating a lot of these ultra processed food, you kind of subject yourself to eating a lot of these abominations. Okay, but you having it now, there's a proposal which is gonna eliminate buying, as they say, junk food in Pennsylvania, and you have the other states that could follow suit, right? Somebody said the better question would be, why would it be allowed to buy junk food using EBT? It's not food, but we know people use EBT to buy everything: drugs, alcohol, nails, and wigs. Well, that goes to where this stuff is being accepted or being traded or bartered. Okay, and many people use these different electronic benefit programs and federal programs, the money going fed it down to the the state, these cities and stuff, for individuals to fund whatever lifestyle they're living. You have career recipients, welfare so-called recipients and stuff, and now we're at the time in which the Lord is removing back these different benefits, and it's going to make these people very miserable, because if you can't get a pack of Mike and Ike's no more, because that's considered junk food, or you can't get the soda, the fizzy drinks, Fanta, the Sprite, the soda, which, like I said, this is coming, as they so-called allegedly say, taxpayer dollars. Many of these people that so-called allegedly pay taxes or can't really qualify for these programs because they have jobs, all right, or they have low-income jobs, and a lot of times these people can't even drink them things or have them different things because they're like a luxury because of the high costs of the goods now. Okay, I have it where there's a lesson I was gonna do. I speak about, no doubt Americans are paying the tariffs. All right, rising wholesale inflation is a warning sign. Okay, and just the inflation is the losing of the strength of the dollar because more is in circulation. Okay, and of course this is a warning sign, and as you're gonna see, things are just gonna get more and more miserable, because if people can't feed their addiction to every day getting, for say, some cakes, zebra cakes, moon pie. You might even get pot pies. There's some Jake, they live off pot pies, oodles and noodles and such, which I can see them keeping that. Well, that's really junk food. It's ultra processed garbage, but they may say it's nutritious because it had peas and corn in it. But they want to cut off Jake from the luxuries, all right? And Jake that was eating good is not gonna have that no more. So we're seeing America at its fall, okay? And since it lifts up a lot of women that receive a lot of these benefits from the programs, it's gonna leave a lot of women, more so looking and more reliant on, if they are elect, men of the Lord. Okay, simple as that. Okay, so this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 32, and I'll start at verse 9. It says, "Rise up, ye women that are at ease, hear my voice, ye careless daughters, give ear unto my speech. Many days and years shall ye be troubled, ye careless women, for the venture shall fail, and the gathering shall not come." And in America, America's benefits, that's all being dried up and taken away from you through the form of policy, okay? Revisions, okay? Amendments being made, eliminations are being made, funding is being cut, okay? You might have to go to a food bank at a church to get your tasty cakes, your ding dongs, your let me think of one of those popular pies. People even in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, they, like I said, they do the tasty cakes or the apple pie, cherry pies. You might be one of those that like having Haagen-Dazs ice cream, or you can't buy that anymore. All right. But Babylon is being troubled, okay? It says, "Tremble ye women that are at ease, be troubled ye careless ones, strip you and make ye bare, gird sackcloth upon your loins. They shall lament for the teats, for the pleasant fields, for the fruitful vine." All right? And as you're going to see, these programs are going to be cut off from Babylon, all right? And you're going to have it, the only way to get some of these different benefits is to be a compliant operating citizen within the system, which requires you to take him as your form of salvation via the C-HIP, okay? Because that's what we all leading up to. Make people, of course, more miserable, so that when things come to the solution, you got the problem, but the solution, most people are going to be begging for the pleasures, okay? So to get their appetites then felt and met, all right, stimulated. Most people are overly stimulated by these processed foods that control their brains anyway. So, we got to, be, of course, as the scriptures say, we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. And we got to hear the instruction of the Lord. All right. This is Proverbs chapter 5 and verse 21. "For the ways of man are before the eyes of Yahweh." So, the Lord knows the ways, or the ruck, all right, the course of life, okay, the journey, of a man, all right, of a woman, okay. He knows even of America, the way of America. The Lord set the way of America, to be, of course, this very lofty place where people are arrogant, You know, they're overweight, obese, you know, and seeking only, you know, to appease their own motives. Okay? And cut out anybody else. You got somebody that won't share a piece of a donut with you. Because, you know, it'd be like, man, I can't give you this, man. It's the last one. You know? You know, people in America, they are very self-willed and selfish. But it says, for the ways of man are before the eyes of Yahweh, and that's through the angels. Okay? And he pondered all his goings. Okay? So the Lord knows the path of all men. His own iniquities shall take the wickedness himself. Or let me read again. Proverbs 5:22. His own iniquity shall take the wicked himself, and he shall be holden with the cords of his sins. He shall die without instruction, and in the greatness of his folly he shall go astray. Okay? And you're going to see in these last days, many people, they're going to be taken in their covetousness, their greed, you know, their lack of having respect for themselves and the world about them, you know, the true world, which is the elect, okay, right now, you know, you have it, of course, and, you know, yeah, the world of Israel, but two parts of them, you know, they're going to destroy here in America, and they're not going to care. They count as heathen, you know. But yeah, you know, their own iniquities going to take themselves. All right, and they're not going to be cleansed. All right, they're going to be destroyed on this side. You know, the 2/3. You know, the wicked, they're just wicked. You know, the Edomites that are the wicked, there's no repentance for them. But a lot of people are going to lose a lot of things, and they're going to bug out, you know, because they're not going to have these needs met. All right. So it's important that you prepare your mind for the evils that are here and to come. All right. This is in Ecclesiastes chapter 5, and this is verse 12. It says, the sleep of a laboring man is sweet, whether he eat little or much, but the abundance of the rich will not suffer him to sleep. Okay? And as you would know, for somebody that's rich, a laboring man, they want a laboring man, because that laboring man, he just works. He gets the job done, and that profit goes to that rich man in which he's a subordinate under. Okay? A lot of individuals are top earners, you know, quota bringers, okay? High achievers, you know, in Esau's world. All right? You know, a laboring man, he be cool sometimes. He be like, man, I done worked. I did it all, and I got what I wanted out of everything. You know, sometimes, like, you can be, you know, be done shite, but, you know, hey, cool. I get to sleep. It feel good. You know? But it says, but the rich, this is NLT, but the rich seldom get a good night's sleep. Okay? That's in another translation. You know? This is Ecclesiastes chapter 5 and 13. There's a sore evil which I have seen under the sun, namely riches kept for the owners, therefore to their hurt. Okay? A lot of things are in the possession of the wicked, including the Edomites, including the Israelites. Okay? Because the wicked are the Edomites. Okay? You have it that the Israelites are in their hand, and in the hand of the power of the Edomites, right? The Israelites are in, and then they're going to be for their own hurt, because, as I say, he lead into captivity shall go into captivity. Though we, of course, have to go to Esau for the one of all things, you know, Esau is going to be cut off. All right. There's no acquitting of the wicked. All right. But those riches shall perish by evil travail. And he begetteth a son, and there is nothing in his hand. All right. And I'm just going to leave it like at that, man. You know, we see what's going on. Prophecy is going on. You know, they're going to keep on cutting these things. America's going to continue to be going through straits. And it's going to lead towards more prophecy being fulfilled in this fall. So, Shalom to you, like.